Hey everyone, it's Angie. Thank you so much for joining me for today's topic on fear. I know that this is a big topic for many of us. We just seem to be consumed by this fear and anxiety in our life. And what is happening with the mind is it is focusing on a lot of what ifs, playing that wonderful little what if game of focusing on those negative outcomes, expecting the worst, and worrying about future uncertainties, things about the future that it doesn't have the answers to. So when the mind has this type of focus, it becomes confused. And when our minds are confused, it will spin and try to find a suitable answer. And when it comes to the future and bigger outcomes, sometimes there just isn't that answer yet. And so when our mind is allowed to spin that way and stay in confusion, that is what creates the anxiety in your body. So the longer your mind is allowed to dwell on these future uncertainties, play these what-if games, the more it's allowed to stay in the unknown, the more confused it becomes and the more anxiety you will have in your body. So I want to give you 3 very helpful tips today to help you avoid all of that fear and help your mind stay out of that state of confusion. So the first thing that we're going to do is to give the rule of no what-ifs allowed. We're not going to play the what-if game. If you see that your mind is going to that, and you'll notice it, you'll say, but what if this and what if that, and usually it's a focus on a negative outcome. And so you're going to say, you know what, no what-ifs. We're not playing that game. We're going to stop right there. And if we're going to play a what-if game, we're going to make it a positive what-if game. We're going to say, yeah, but what if the best happens? What if this amazing thing comes from this? So if you have to play the what-if game, make it a positive what-if game. The second thing that you're going to do is focus on the facts. What is it that I do know? Not all the uncertainties, not all of the unknowns. We're not going to dwell in that confusion, which creates the anxiety. We're going to say, what is it that I know right now? What are the facts of this situation that I have right now at this moment? Write those down. Look at those facts. Well, what can I do about those things? What actions can I take? How can I move forward based on the facts? That's the second thing that you're going to do. This is going to help keep your mind, again, out of that state of confusion, which creates the fear, which creates the anxiety in your body. The third thing that I want you to remember is to build a safety net. And what this means is to look at your beliefs about life or about God. And it's totally up to you what your God beliefs are, but I know that the opposite of fear is faith. So when we have these beliefs about we will be supported, we will be taken care of, that just helps bring our mind out of this state of confusion much faster. It helps it to let it go and say, you know what? I don't know all the answers right now, but I know if I give this over to whatever it is that I believe in, or if I believe life is going to support me and the best is always going to come around the corner, and if I have a very positive outlook on life and I have a strong belief in the God of my understanding, that kind of builds like this little safety net for the mind to fall back on and say, you know what? I don't have to know all the answers. I just have to know what is right now, and I know that everything's going to be taken care of and I will be supported. So those are your 3 tips, and I hope that is so helpful for you to reduce that anxiety in your body. It's a little more simple than we make it out to be when we understand exactly what the mind is doing, and it's just staying in a state of confusion, trying to find an answer, and that's creating that unrest and that anxiety feeling in your body. So I want you to go over to your workbook, and that's going to help you to process this information that I gave to you, to work that through personally, to see how that fits into your life, and to ask you some questions to see where it is you're playing the what-if game or you're looking at future uncertainties. One last tip that I want to give you before you go over to your workbook is if you're in a lot of fear and anxiety right now, that means that your mind is probably in an unhealthy state. It doesn't mean you're mentally ill. That's a whole different label we won't go into. It just means that your mind needs a rest. It is stressed about all these future uncertainties. So what I want you to do is promise yourself over this next week that you're going to limit your intake in your mind of uncertainties, and that means world news or local news. So I want you to put yourself on a little world news, local news detox for the next week. And what that's going to do is just create this environment for your mind to heal and for your mind to start coming out of these games of what ifs and uncertainties, and give it a space to come into a place that is relaxed and settled, and it can get much stronger and much healthier. So that is your tips for today on fear, and I hope that you can go over to the workbook and go to the website and check out all the other wonderful free information to help you to have a happier, healthier life.